To get Bad Omen to start a raid in Minecraft, most people run around an outpost and hope for a pillager with a banner to spawn. There's also farms you can build, but none of that really works for me. Let me explain. I like my redstone to be fun. What I enjoy the most is to create something with fun interactions and visuals. This is the Pillager Tinder, dating app. Pillager dating app. Originally inspired by Slicedlime's Pillager sorting. It is a Bad Omen farm where you swipe right to save them up if they do have a banner, so you can get Bad Omen whenever you need to. Or you swipe left, which makes them go die in one of 5 random ways. There is TNT, lava, powdered snow, magma, and fireworks. But I built all of this in survival and didn't really plan it, which means there's a ton of stuff to improve about it. So let's do that. First, I want the killing to happen behind where you sort the pillagers, so you don't have to turn to the side to see the show. Second, it's a little slow. You only get a pillager every few seconds, and even if you sort at max speed, the randomizer is too slow as well, and you will get a pillager skipping over the killing. Also, I'm using spectral arrows to make the pillagers glow, and in order to not have to restock that, I want to use a bell instead. Lastly, I want the Bad Omen dispensers to be faster. So right now, if you need a higher Bad Omen level than 2, it takes quite a long time for the pillager captains to reach the top. Now that we have a to-do list, let's get started. So the first thing I did here was copy the whole thing over into a creative world and then clean up all the decoration and color code all the systems so we can properly see what we're working with here. What is this mess? Why did I put a clock here? I seriously made this so this minecart just idles here and gets pushed by the next one that gets dispensed. Okay, I gotta focus up here. After some trying around, I figured this is gonna be the new layout. We're gonna bring in the pillagers from below. That way we have the space above for the different killing methods. And that way we can stand here and see the pillagers dying above while we just do our selection down here. Now with the new layout done, let's figure out how to make this thing fast. There is not a lot of space here, so this might get tricky. Never mind, that was easy. So the pillager is sitting here, and as soon as I press the button, the trapdoor opens. Below, the piston extends, making it so the pillager goes to either one side or the other, depending on which button I press. And the signal goes over and sends on the next one. So you can just go for the pillagers. Pretty fast, actually. I'd say that's a good speed to sort for pillagers. Now I just gotta make it so they actually get supplied to here fast enough. After some testing around, I landed on this vertical magazine here for pillagers. And whenever we activate the fence gate, it pops up, goes into the water stream and lands on the rails. And yeah, the redstone is even cleaner, more compact than before, and the pillagers are saved up in minecarts, so we don't have to wait whenever we start. They're just ready to go. So now we have to get the pillagers to spawn around an outpost into minecarts. Okay, so making this pickup system took me longer than I would like to admit. Every time we sort for a pillager, we will send a signal down to this observer, which will put a minecart into the loop and also add to the counter here. Once the minecart picks up a pillager, it subtracts from the counter. This way we can keep track of how many we need to pick up, and it shuts off itself once we have enough. Is this over-engineered? Yeah, probably. Do I like it? Yeah. To see if this would actually work, I took the top of an outpost and pasted in the pickup system. Then I added the spawning layer where we lure them into the center with a golem. 120 blocks above, I put the pillager sorting. The reason for this to be high up is so we don't have to do any spawn proofing. Here you can see the border of where mobs can spawn, and it's only on the spawn platform. I also connected the pickup system to the buttons up here, so now I can test if I can keep up. Oh yeah, and I also changed the layout again and made the redstone even faster. And it's broken. Okay, so why are there no pillagers? So this disconnected properly, right? Oh, I didn't put any minecarts in. Well, that would be a good idea to get done. Okay, let's test this again. This is smooth. I think it can keep up. They're just consistently restocking here. I'm pretty sure this can keep up. This is fast enough. I'm really happy with this so far. Let's move on to the randomizer. To faster randomize the different killing methods for the pillagers, I will use shulkers with different amounts of items so we can get different signal strengths for comparators instead. Those shulkers will be randomly placed by a dispenser, and with this red coder we get a single output always corresponding to that shulker. I had to slightly rewire the red coder because the killing chambers are one block apart here, but it still works the same. There's just a slight delay between each slice here. I hooked up the rails and now I realized I had the colors all wrong, so I just flipped those two around. Now with this randomizer in place and wired up with this detector rail, let's see if it's fast enough to keep up with the speed at which we're sorting here. So this looks very promising if we ignore the fact that I'm too dumb to use activator rails. Now with those activator rails sorted out, I also put in all the killing methods, so we got the same 5 methods as we had before. Just a little bit of redstone extra for the TNT and fireworks, and that's about it here. This is already awesome to watch. This is so much fun. Now the minecarts still just drop on the floor, and we're gonna have to connect that to the dispenser down there so the minecart loop is closed. Yeah, we definitely need to deal with those minecarts. Nice. So the minecarts just drop down onto this pink rail line here and go all the way over here to the lava cauldron, which breaks them, puts them in the hopper, and there's 2 double chests here for buffer, so we can load in a ton of minecarts, and that puts them back into the dispenser. Also, I just realized I should probably spawn-proof all of the redstone here, just so we don't get any random pillagers wandering onto the tracks here. I've noticed that right next to the TNT here, there's sometimes broken minecarts. And it turns out minecarts only break if they're on an activator rail, otherwise they wouldn't. It looks like this will affect all of the activator rails other than the first one. I just went with the easy solution here, and I made it so whenever a minecart item drops on top of those rails, it just goes back into the system using this dispenser here. Okay, randomizer and killing methods are done. Let's move on to the bell. So according to the Minecraft wiki, the bell has a 32 block range to make them glow. So I can just put a bell all the way back here. This should be far enough so we don't hear it when we stand here. And it should make them glow. Wait, why does it not? Oh, it only makes him glow when it stops ringing, so I just need a slower clock. So it turns out I slightly misread the wiki, but here I set up the bell a bit further back so the ones in the elevator don't start glowing. And yeah, this clock here turns out to be the perfect timing to always just trigger the bell as it stops ringing. So this seems to work out pretty smoothly. And with that all working, we only have to make the system to get the bad omen. I would love for the bad omen pillagers to just come out of the floor, and then we can just walk up and punch them, and somehow we gotta detect when they die, and we need their head to be inside of a glass pane, that way they can't shoot us and we can just walk around them. So let's try and figure that out. My first idea here is to bring them through a bubble elevator and have them sit on top of this rail here, that way they can't shoot us because their head would be inside of the glass pane. However, there is no way to automatically detect when we kill them. What I want to try and use instead is a lightweight pressure plate. So with those you can detect an amount of entities that are on top of them. So with one minecart it gives you a signal strength of 1. But if that minecart has a passenger, it will detect that there's 2 entities. So we will get a signal strength of 2. And once we kill it, it will go back down to 1. The issue here is that when you kill a pillager with a banner, the ominous banner drops as an item and it would keep the signal strength at 2. So somehow we would have to get rid of that item to detect when the pillager dies, and then also get the minecart off that pressure plate. This is gonna be a challenge. Okay, this was the hardest thing to get working in this whole build so far. The pillager's just sitting here, it can't shoot me since its head is in the glass pane, and once we punch it, the minecart gets disposed, the items also get taken care of, and the next one pops up here. The way it works is that the pillager and the minecart is sitting on a heavy-weighted pressure plate on top of a mud block here. And first of all, the items get taken care of by this hopper minecart here, which eventually disposes of the bad omen banners into this lava over there. And then this rail gets shifted over, pulling the minecart through the mud, and has the minecart going back into the system, which right now just drops into the void. And then also activates this fence gate here, which is where we are holding the pillagers with the bad omen in this bubble elevator. Also, to prime the system and get the first one in, you can kind of reach for here and hit this button, which will then get the first one here, and from there it'll just automatically keep restocking them. Now with this pasted over, the only thing left here to do is to make it so the empty minecarts don't just drop down onto the spawning layer here. One thing I forgot is that I used to poison the pillager captains so I can one-shot them when I want the bad omen. To not have to restock the potions all the time, I decided to use this brewer here, which keeps brewing poison potions until this dispenser down here runs out. And the pillagers just get splashed whenever they arrive at the bubble elevator. With that done and all systems fully functional, there's one more thing I don't have on the to-do list. The best part about the old Pillager Tinder were all those different note block sequences, and for all time's sake, I'm just gonna use those again. And now with the note blocks in place and some slight modifications, we hear this when we deny a pillager, and this when we accept one. And when I get the bad omen, we hear this nice level up sound. I'm really happy with how this turned out. There's a world download in the description, and I would love to see how you guys modify and decorate this for your own preference. So feel free to share it in the Discord. Thanks for watching.